What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Borat. I am new in town. I just say a kiss you. Say hello.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at the Bone Spear Necro for Torment 16 and key farming as part of our Season 28 Diablo 3 build up. A lot of fun this build. We're going to be using the Teeth Rune to chuck out the Bone Spears everywhere. It's quite a fast and fun key build. Probably would be my first go-to for the Necro for key farming. Build is a little tricky to set up. We will talk about that. You also can farm keys on Legacy of Dreams Mages. I think that probably would be a little bit faster than this. You can also farm keys on the Nova Necro. Not sure whether that would be faster. It might well be. And we could just run the GR Bone Spear build that we did the other day on the channel, but I think it's worthwhile tweaking this for T16. Before we do jump in though, as always guys, thumbs up brightens my day. And yeah, subscribe if you're interested in the Diablo 3 build-up material that we've got. Now, footage in the background, the first couple of rifts are with all the Paragon added, but we're actually going to use the Tragul's Corroded Fang, and then after a couple of rifts I swap to the Scythe of the Cycle and take all the Paragon out to kind of simulate a little bit of an earlier game type scenario. Right, okay, let's talk about, I guess, how things would look with everything added, because I think that's probably the more pressing issue of where we want to be. So, the Bone Spear has been buffed significantly on the 6-piece bonus. It now does 9,000%, and Simulacrums also do triple damage, which is really nice. So, we hit like an absolute truck when the Simulacrums are up. The difficulty with this build is this amulet, the Haunted Visions. It's really annoying to find because there's lots of amulets in the pool, and without it the Simulacrums are on a cooldown, but they don't last very long at all. So if you want them to be up permanently, you need a Haunted Visions. That's your real ceiling and your real sticking point with this. The rest of the build's quite easy to do. So early on you take the Scythe of the Cycle because Bone Spear will do 400% extra damage. Once you're juiced up with some Paragon, some Augments and some power behind you, I like to swap to Tragul's Corroded Fang, and that is simply because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to manage my bone armor, because when you use the Scythe of the Cycle, every time you Bone Spear, it reduces your bone armor cooldown. When this drops off, you don't do any extra damage with Scythe of the Cycle, whereas you can just play it super lazy mode, Aura of Frailty and the Corroded Fang, and it'll just be everything gets cursed and everything gets blasted by the Bone Spear, which is pretty nice. You're going to have to take Maltorius, Petrified Spike in the cube. You're going to have to take the Gelmundor's Marigards in the cube. You don't have to cube these, I suppose. They could go on the character, but the Arm Guards offer quite a nice move speed buff when you break something. Not up all the time, but enough to worth taking, I think. I mean, you could do something different with it, but I mean, you've got to get the Stewart's Greaves in for a key build because you move super fast with these. Rogue to make up the bonuses. We're still rocking the Lost Time for the 50% move speed. We activate that by actually swapping the Bone Armor rune to Harvest of Anguish for cold. Not up all of the time, but it will also give you natively a little bit more move speed, 10%, so we do take it. And that allows us to use the Teeth Rune for the extra air of effect rather than the Cold Spear. But as early, if you want to use the Cold Spear, you still absolutely can do. We've got Crispins for extra damage, Bane of the Powerful for extra damage, Bane of the Trap for extra damage, and then we've got the Boon of the Hoarder for the gold and the move speed, and of course the gold wrap for the indestructibility. In terms of essence, we were absolutely fine in all the runs that we did. We do of course have the benefit of the seasonal theme potion spam, where we will get tons of resource out of that every so often. We took a Topaz in the Helm, and then in terms of the passives, we've basically got Dark Reaping, 2% Essence and Life per kill, as well as Devouring Aura, Essence per corpse, really just basically gets the Bone Spears back. We also had the Max Essence Overwhelm passive, increasing that up. Fueled by Death for some move speed. Whenever we consume the corpses with Devour, we get faster. Final Service in case we cock something up. Aura of Frailty, just expands with our gold pickup radius. Follower should have the average band. That should make your pickup radius infinite, so everything will be cursed, so you can spray it down with the Bone Spear at your will. Obviously, if you go the Scythe of the Cycle route, you don't need the curse. It doesn't really do very much for you, but there's nothing terribly great to swap it to. You could take a generator on bounties, so you could put the Frost Scythe back on from the speed build. That would allow you to open doors without bone spearing if you wanted. You could take the Golem for a pile of corpses, just in case you did get low and you needed to consume some corpses to get some essence back. Generator probably safer choice though. Bone armor, again, early on, if you're looking to get a Crispins and you want a load of damage out of it, you go for Dislocation. You activate the second part of the Crispins for the extra damage, but once you get to a certain level, you don't need it. You're better off taking the utility of the move speed with the Harvest of Anguish Cold Room. Bloodrush Molting, we leave a corpse, tops us up on essence every so often. It's a T16 build, we're immortal, so no point in taking the increased armor from the potency room. And then Simulacrum, we get all the runes with the set, so we don't have to worry about which one we pick. Right, that is pretty much it. Now, it's a hard build to put together in some respects, because Crispins takes a while to pop out. The Amulet, as I said earlier, takes a while to pop out. But the good news is that the Scythes are both very easy to get, as is the Petrified Spike. These are all 1 in 4 upgrades in the cube, so not too bad to get them. And as I say, the rest of the Bone Spear set is for free. Steward's Greaves are obviously really nice to have, but to start the set off, you don't need it. And realistically, early on, you will just simply be rocking the 9,000% damage modifier. You'll have a Trags, you'll have a Scythe of the Cycle well before you get Haunted Visions. In the footage, we are using a Larceny Ring, again looking to proc that 60% move speed on hit. By all means, take a Convention of Elements in this slot, or 200% extra damage on physical or cold, depending on which Bone Spear rune you're taking. You can also do Stone of Jordan here for more damage if you want. That would also be a bit more max essence as well. So early on, jewelry wise, not particularly hard to do. You know, like the Crispins could easily just be a convention. It would be about the same in terms of the damage. It would be a little clunkier because you'd be getting the big spikes on the convention cycle, whereas the Crispins is just a bit of a flatter damage, but it would be about the same. So really, it's the amulets, the pig, that's what you've got to do. So once you've got your scythe set up, I'm probably then just absolutely hammering Kadala for amulets and seeing if we get lucky. She is doing double rates with the Altar of Right, so you will find twice as many amulets as normal, and fingers crossed the Haunted Visions pops out. I would also probably, once I've got my weapons, just be upgrading amulets in a cube like crazy, looking to get a Haunted Visions. Again, if you got a Squirts early on, Squirts would be okay. You would be doubling your 9,000% damage modifier. Not as good as permanent Simulacrum, and you'd be really squishy because you only have toughness when the Simulacrums are alive, so it is a bit of a funny one to put together. You know, I might start Necro, and I kind of, with my crappy RNG, think I'll probably end up putting the Tragul set together before I get this Flaming Amulet, because that's just how my luck rolls, but we'll see. In terms of the long term, it's fun to play for keys. I would probably mix it in with mages and mix it in with Traguls. You know, for key farming, I like to kind of mix my builds up, because I'll do an hour on this, an hour on one another, an hour on a different class or a different set or whatever. It's nice to have different options. I do get a little bit bored if I just do keys on the same thing over and over and over again. I like to mix it up in the season. That is the Bone Spear T16 guide. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're pumped for season 28. I've been the Filthy Casual. I'll see you again real soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.